Well, they can. Merchant banking is totally, a different, ball game. And as we speak, obviously, the market is big, is also underserved. There are quite a lot of other opportunities out there for them to now come and do, innovative things and, transform the market. The whole thing about merchant banking is just not about collecting deposit or so, but also advisory services to advise you how you should either run your business or how so the market space is huge, and I think even if there are 5 more banks licensed, it's not really going to outcrowd the others. So there's quite a lot that they can do to make quite a lot of money.
Okay, let's talk about you. Let's talk us through your investment plans for 2018.
Well, our investment plan is not just 2018. It has come, right for the last 2.5, 3 years. What we are doing is the refinery, which is 650,000 barrels, the fertilizer plant of 3 million tons of urea and ammonia, of which we have almost completed. We'll commission end of second quarter this year.
Both of them, both the refinery and the fertilizer?
No, the fertilizer.
Fertilizer.
The refinery, it has also a petrochemical plant attached to it for polypropylene, polyethylene, almost about 1.3 million tons. It's huge, actually. We're almost like 10 times the size of doing in Port Harcourt, LMA. That one too is there. We have the rice project, which we are doing 1 million tons of rice. We have the sugar one, which we are doing about 1.2 million tons of, sugar. And we're also adding capacity in the cement. For the first time this year, by the time we finish our 2 terminals of export, Nigeria will become the largest exporter in cement in the entire African continent. We are putting up a huge capacity for export. So it's not only that we're selling locally, domestically, we're also going to be exporting now to our other neighboring countries that are not opportune to have limestone.
So how are the businesses in those other countries, the other African countries?
They're okay.
In terms of, policy, regulation?
Well, policy, regulation, they're there.
An accommodative environment?
Well, the environment is okay, but, there are a few changes here and there once in a while in some countries. But majority of them are quite pretty stable. We have very, very good stability, and we've been doing, the business. Of course, we have had a couple of rough 2 years because of the commodity prices collapse. But right now, if you look at it, it's not only oil. Almost all the commodity prices have actually gone up. They have bounced back. So the purchasing power of people, the government's capacity to generate funds and also invest in infrastructure is happening. So we're okay.
So for the refinery, are we still on track for 2019? Because the government always points
we will finish. Yes, we'll finish. 2019. Obviously, the product will be beginning of 2020, but completion is 2019. We're still on track. But mind you, in a huge project like that, there are also huge, challenges. Which of course we have faced challenges of exchange rate. We have faced challenges with the condition of the place, which we had to do almost 70 million cubic meters of sand, so there are quite a lot. We are creating a new, not a port, but we are creating a new jetty with a water breaker of almost 1 kilometers, and we are doing massive infrastructure there, just to be able to take our equipment into the place to erect. If you go to the site in the next 3 months, by maybe April or so, you see massive activity, happening. There are a lot of activities right now as we speak, but the activities, a lot of our equipment will start arriving at that time. Then you can see the difference. It is difficult. Sometimes people believe that, okay, well, look, is it still happening? Of course it is happening, but it's a phase.
So how do you see for the fertilizer plant that you said should be ready in the second quarter of this year? How do you see that changing the dynamics of the market?
It will change the dynamics of the market. It's a huge capacity. We are going to be the second largest, fertilizer plant in the world, after COPCO, producing urea and ammonia. And obviously, yes, Nigeria too will become one of the largest, or definitely will become the largest exporter of urea and ammonia, or generally fertilizer, from the African continent. So you can look at it that, look, a year ago or so, Nigeria was actually the biggest importer. But right now things have changed. We are building 3 million. Indorama have built 1.45, and most likely Notori too will build. Indorama are thinking about doubling their capacity. So Nigeria will become a powerhouse of fertilizer, just like cement. And it's possible and it's doable.
Let's talk about your investment in solar. That was in the news recently. Yeah. You're doing something in Kano State, and it runs into millions of dollars. Could you shed more light on that?
We're going to try and start solar in Kano about 100 megawatts. We say between 100 to 150. We already have been given the land by the state government, so we're working really very hard, both us and our partners, Blackstone through Black Rhino, to try and put up the first solar plant, there. In our own business, we also produce power. The only thing is that we don't sell. So we produce and consume. But I think our own thinking is going to change. We believe that we need to participate also in the power sector to see how we can bring a major change in terms of the generation. So most likely, don't be surprised if you see us being one of the leading power, generating companies in Nigeria.
Okay, we'll definitely keep our eyes out for that. Let's talk about the business space. I've spoken to a number of business leaders since the year began, asking them what their outlook is, especially from the policy perspective, and what are those things that they're hopeful to see this year?
I think the terms of business is good. Business, you can see that, yes, we're going into recession, but things have actually, turned out now to be much better than before. But, even when you are in recession, you don't really sit down and keep complaining. You go back and adjust your belt. Go and look into areas that you have not been doing well, and that you can do that and transform. If you look at it, most of our companies that we are running, they have all done better even in the recession time. So it's not that, yes, when you have a recession, it's a death sentence. No. It is an opportunity for you to wake up and do something else. Things have started actually, improving quite a lot. Our oil, we are now exporting about, I think, 2.2 million barrels per day. That is, both oil and condensate. And, oil at $70 is an extremely good thing for Nigeria. But the only thing that I'm a little bit nervous about is that we shouldn't really take up our eyes from diversifying the economy. The way that we are naturally Nigerians, as soon as things start getting better, we will forget about what happened last year and the year before and keep doing something else. I think we should still continue to concentrate on expanding the economy, or making sure that we don't only rely on oil to get our foreign exchange. We should look at various other sectors of the economy. What can we do? Well, let's go and bring back cotton. Let's go and bring back cocoa. Let us go and export anything that is exportable, not as a raw material, but as a finished product. Let us add value so that when we export, we can make a lot of money. We can even change and say that, yes, we should train our own people and be like Philippines, where Philippines now, they earn more money from home remittances, where people go and work in other countries and bring in money. I'm talking about high quality, people. You go to hospitals in America, you go to all these areas, who do you see there? Nigerians. So these are the kind of things that I would like to see going forward. Okay,
now finally, before I let you go, this year has been described as a year of two halves, and the second half of the year, the political landscape. What are your thoughts in terms of political clarity and how you're processing and interpreting what's going on?
Well, I think what is going on, normally is, it's normal with politicians. Obviously, it's the season. You hear quite a lot of, noise here and there. But I think my own advice to people who are in the government, they are running government, they shouldn't really take up their attention. I know that it's difficult, but they should also focus at running the country, running the states, making sure that, yes, maybe they can have two teams, people who will now participate in the politics, they carry on firing on the political space, firing on all cylinders, and people who are going to run the government in terms of providing infrastructure, in terms of this, at least 80% of their time should be on job of delivery. Because job of delivery is also another way of campaign, because when you deliver, you can now go and tell the electorates that, hey, look, I've delivered on X, Y, Z. Then you can get re-elected.